למד כל הירושלמי. איפה הבחור?
הוא היה לפני החתונה של הרב.
הוא עושה סיום על כל ירושלמי, הוא רוצה ברוך שלא יצלח שזה כל התל.
לפני החתונה.
הרב אמר ברוך הבא.
In the passing of the great Gadol, Rabbi Kanievsky, the leader of the Jewish people, I want to reflect on some of the personal experiences that I had with Rabbi Kanievsky and share them with you, give you some inspiration, and to show you some of the guidance that he gave to me. So when I was dating my wife is from a very good family, and all of her brothers are Rosh Kollels, or her sister's married Rosh Kollels. You know, certainly everybody in her family sits and learns. Her uncle is the great Rabbi Nisim Yagen. And who am I? I'm just a person who is a Baal Tshuva and really got into learning, and, you know, certainly at a much later age. My wife wasn't really sure that maybe it's appropriate. We went out a number of times, and she certainly had, you know, very good guidance on it, and we spent a lot of time, you know, talking about what could be. And ultimately, she asked her brother to take a letter to Rabbi Kanievsky and to read a letter. And she wrote a letter and to get a bracha and for guidance and to see what to do, and if she should go forward in the shidduch and get married to me or move on. So her brother Moti, who is the mishkiach at a very good Sephardi yeshiva, said, okay, I'm going to Rabbi Kanievsky for a bracha. And I said, great, I'd love to go too. So we went to Rabbi Kanievsky, and he read the letter. And in the letter, he's saying, okay, he's a good guy, but, you know, is a new Baal Tshuva, and, you know, I'm not sure. And, you know, but, you know, he's a Baal Tshuva. And after hearing all of the things, and at the point where he said, okay, but he's a Baal Tshuva, Rabbi Kanievsky lifted his head up and said, so what? And said, where is the Bachor? Where is he? And he shook my hand, and he said, Mazel Tov, congratulations. And he said, get married. So we did. We closed right away. It's really with the guidance and the bracha of Rabbi Kanievsky. And because, you know, she's from a Haredi Orthodox background from birth, and I'm not. But he said, look, this is Das Torah. This is somebody who's serious about learning and doing, and, you know, this is what you want. And another experience I had was that my sister, when she was living in Israel, had a very high-risk pregnancy, and she was 40 years old, and she was carrying twins, and she was having a lot of problems with the pregnancy, and the doctors weren't sure that everything would be okay with the twins. And she was very sad. She had spent many years trying to have children. It was already later on in her life, and she, you know, this is kind of was her last chance. My sister was crying, and I was very sad because the doctors were not sure anything would, you know, continue. And I went to Rabbi Kanievsky for a bracha, and I told him, and he said that it's going to be okay, and that she's going to have twins, and it's going to be fine. And she did, and she has healthy twins today. And I want to share another story with you. I have another sister here in Israel that also had a pregnancy with twins. The pregnancy also was not going very well. And I went to Rabbi Kanievsky again, and he gave me a bracha that everything should go well, and it went well. And I have another story. I went one time with my brother-in-law Moti, and we went with his son to Rabbi Kanievsky just to let his son watch him learn. Rabbi Kanievsky is very famous for sitting and learning, and he wanted his then 11-year-old son to sit and get the experience of watching a Gadol B'Torah, a great master and masmid, somebody who sits and learns to learn. So we went to Rabbi Kanievsky's house, and it was right before lunch. It was a day when people weren't coming to him because he was busy with other things. And we had the privilege to sit and watch him learn the Bavli. And me and my nephew-in-law sat and watched him, and my brother-in-law Moti, we sat and watched him learn. And then we saw that he had lunch after. He had a chicken salad for lunch, and we left. But it was really, really put a big impression on me that the seriousness and the intensity of which he sits and he's focused and there's no distractions and he is not looking at anything else. He is just absorbed in every page, and that's something that we can all take away from him. And I want to share another special story. There was another time that the Rosh Yeshiva was very excited that I had finished the Shas for the first time. And he arranged to have a siyum shas at the house of Rabbi Kanievsky, with Rabbi Kanievsky. So we went, and he made a nice party for us, and we had a nice siyum shas together with my Rosh Yeshiva and Rabbi Kanievsky, and it was a beautiful experience. And I'll share one more experience. My wife and I were married for many years, and we were having a very hard time having any children. And I went to get a bracha, and he gave us a bracha, but he said, go get a bracha from my daughter. So right away we went to Rabbi Kanievsky's daughter, and we talked to her about it, there's nothing medically wrong with either one of us, it just things weren't working out, and we were having a hard time having children after many, many years. We sat, and my wife cried to Rabbi Kanievsky's daughter, and Rabbi Kanievsky's daughter said that I will pray for you every day until you have a child. And after 3 or 4 years, she prayed for us every day, and we finally had a child. Called my wife many times to see, how the pregnancy was going, to see, how the baby was doing after he was born. And it's really a really special family that, that Jews are going to care about other Jews at such a level that they're going to pray for one another for even many years every day. And this is really the family that Rabbi Kanievsky had and who his children are. And this is something that we can learn from. And I'll give you another story. We were having a hard time having our delivery with our precious son. And we asked Rabbi Kanievsky right away. We had Moti ask somebody while he was praying mincha, right after he was praying mincha, on what to do with the delivery and the doctors, and he told us what to do, and everything was healthy. And we were scared because we were having difficulty with our delivery, and after so many years of trying and without any success. And yesterday I had the privilege to walk the hearse of Rabbi Kanievsky to the graveyard, and I was reflecting on what I got from Rabbi Kanievsky. And one of the things that I can share with you that I think that all of us should think about is the lesson Rabbi Kanievsky shares with us. That is that there's a power to learning Torah every day. Rabbi Kanievsky was famous for sitting down and learning every day, and if he didn't finish his portion that he wanted to do in that day, he would make it up the next day no matter what, and he would set things aside so that he could finish that. And that power of consistency is something that we can learn. And another thing that we can learn from Rabbi Kanievsky is the power of hard work for learning Torah, and the consistency every day of doing hard work in learning Torah is an inspiration that all of us should have. And the third thing that we should take away from Rabbi Kanievsky is the power of learning a broad array of Torah every day. Rabbi Kanievsky was famous for learning the halachot every day, for learning the Rambam every day. He was famous for learning all of the Midrash Rabbah every day. Okay, he learned the Gemara, the Bavli, the Yerushalmi every day. He was famous for that. So he had a very broad range of what he was learning. We can take away from that as well, so that even if you are not as serious in learning Torah as some of the people who sit in a kollel or yeshiva are every day, one of the things that you can do to emulate, to get stronger in your life, is to follow what Rabbi Kanievsky did. He set a time, he set a schedule of what he was going to learn, and he learned a bit of everything. And you can do that too. You can learn some Tanakh every day. You can learn some Mishnah every day. You can learn some halacha every day. You can learn some Rambam every day. And that is really the biggest thing that Rabbi Kanievsky would want for you to get from looking at what his life was, and for you to have a productive life as well. Have a great day.